Good evening, everyone. This is Nigon here from Nigon's Electronic Creations, and I'm going to be doing another Features of Igniter video. This is going to be on moving fonts and adding new fonts, and this is going to be targeting the Igniter 2 board, mainly because there's some special things you have to do in Igniter 2 around configuring for both Igniter and Spark Color, since you can use Spark Color as an app on Igniter. So here we go. These are the demo files. Again, these are just the default files I've copied here, and I'll be doing our edits. This is going to be a config that's going to go in my my OBTPM saber. So I will do a couple things. I'm going to basically I'm going to add this Lord Blakeos font, the OBMTP, the OWK-TPM Rage font. I'm going to basically add that and make it font 1. So I'll move font 1 out. I'm going to swap font 2 and 3 because font 3 is episode 1. And then once 2 becomes 3, then I'm going to actually swap that with font D, because D is episode 2, the 2 Essence fonts. So let's get started with that. We'll start with the simplest thing, which is just swapping fonts 2 and 3. For this operation, all we really need to do is just rename in Windows. So we can just rename this. I'd like to do things like this, like add A. Now I can rename this to font 2. And rename this back to 3. Okay, so now we should have them completely swapped. So you see Essence is where we want it. And so that's pretty much good to go. Now this is a little harder because so fonts 1 through 6 not only have Igniter files, but they have Spark files. So you can see they have the SX and SConfig. The Spark files are there. However, this font D currently does not have any because there's no the Spark only can load fonts, the first 6 fonts basically, font 1 to 6. So now when we can move these files in the same, but we're going to have to add the Spark files back in and then use the Spark Color config editor to actually update the number of sounds. So let's do that. So we're going to name font D. We want to actually make this font 3. So font 3 we can move out to font D. Now it doesn't really matter casing here. I like the capital though for the last letter so you can see it easier. And then now this can be just regular old font 3. But now again, there's no SConfig SINI. So we can go back to font D, which was originally 3 and had it. We can just control click these. Now we can actually copy these two or cut them. It doesn't matter if these files remain in here, even though they won't be used. It doesn't hurt anything. So I'm just going to leave them. Just copy it. Either's fine. Go back to font 3 and paste those. Now there's one last step though. So in this case, this font may have different number of files and stuff. So of course we have to go open this in the Spark Color config editor. We didn't change Igniter, so we don't need to actually open the Igniter config editor, just Spark Color. So let's open font 3. And you can see it updated some settings. And then just make sure to save that. Okay, now the last operation is pretty much the same thing, except for we're basically for font 1, we're going to move this down. We can just move this down to font E, and then we're going to make this the new font 1. So the easiest way to do that is actually to just take font 1, immediately copy it here like this. So just do copy here. So now we have a font 1 copy. So we can just rename this one to font E. And now that's exactly like our old font 1. Now we can mess up font 1. So now let's go here and we're going to actually delete these files. This is just like what we did for the Spark. So we're going to delete those things. Again, make sure you have this all backed up. If you obviously I do, so make sure you do too before you start deleting stuff. We can also delete this. It's not going to be father-son anymore. Now we can go over here and do Control and A at the same time. Again, highlights everything. Right click, drag. That way we can select copy here, not move here. and then replace the font.wave and multi.wave. That's fine. Now we have to not only go to the Spark color editor, but also the Igniter editor, because this is a font 1 to 6, so we have to both update the sounds for Igniter and for Spark color. So let's go to Igniter first. Open. So we want to go to font 1 this time. And that will update the number of files correctly. Save that. Whoops. Pushed open. Save that. And then we have to do the same thing as Spark color. So let's go to open. Yes. And then we want to go to font 1. Open. And it also adjusted the numbers here. Click save. And then that is it. So now font 1 is updated for both Igniter and Spark color, since we completely changed the way we updated both. Now the very final step is just to basically take our SD card and format it, and then copy the files over. So I'm going to insert an SD card right now. And then we can go here and format this. Let's just call it I2. And you would need to do this even if the card wasn't new. This just happens to be a new card. And now we can go back to our demo, and we can do Control A to copy everything. And then we just right click, move, and copy here. And now once all these files, they'll just copy over, and then once that's done, we will take the card out and put it in the Saber. So I'm going to stop the video here, and once these are copied, I'll put the new video, put the card in the Saber, and we'll go from there and see how it looks. Now we have the SD card loaded in here, so I had formatted, copied the files. So now we're just going to check out how it worked by moving those fonts. So you can see the first font is the OKW font by Lord Blacko, not sure. And yeah, I left the blade green, but whatever. You could easily fix that with the using the app, Saber apps, to change the color, which is what I'd recommend. But you can see this is a great font. It works really well for this Saber. Let's go to the next font.
Essence, episode 1.
You see it works as well. Now let's actually go to the Spark color and see the fonts there as well.
Saber apps. Color, motion, Saber, Spark color.
So now we've got a Spark color, so now we have the same font, see, working fine, because we configured it as well. And we can go, let's go to the third font this time.
Essence.
This is episode 2. And there you have it. So we have successfully edited all 3 of those fonts, and they work for both the Igniter and this Spark Color 2 app on Igniter 2.